And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. So welcome to our first meeting of October 2023. We got lots of film here tonight and a lot of great topics to talk about. Before we get into any of those topics, I would like to welcome, let's see if this is going to, oh, I got to do this. I would like to welcome Derek Gibson to the NBFOA. Derek has just moved here from BC. He is living over in Riverview, and he's got a son that plays for Mount A. Derek, anything else you want to tell us about your background in football?
I've been coaching for about the last 25 years, both Canadian and American rules, because we play American rules in BC in high school. I just recently wrapped up being the O-line coach for the Langley Rams of the CJFL, and I was reffing the last 2 years in high school as well. So I'm interested in carrying on with reffing now that I'm out here in New Brunswick.
Awesome. Well, welcome to the NBFOA.
Thank you.
All right, let's I'm gonna get Mark Charret and Patrick Esterbrooks to give us some information here, because you guys, I believe, Mark, you sent me this picture. This is a great picture. We have some female junior officials working for us in Moncton, and hopefully we get some of these girls to stick around to join the NBFOA to work other levels. Mark and Pat, one of you guys want to tell us about this picture?
I approached the GMFA last week, and I went to see we have 4 female teams in Moncton, so I approached the female teams. We have 12 girls signed up to be junior officials. This picture here was taken last Wednesday. That was the first game that the junior officials done in Moncton, and Patrick is helping me out with this group to be a mentor for them. They're going to be doing U12 this year, and they're going to start doing sticks for U14 and U16. We're going to have meetings with them every second Sunday. They're being paid by the GMFA. And for this year, that's what we're doing. And if they're interested, after the year is done in probably January or February, I'll be reaching out to you guys to get them to get their level 1 and keep going from there.
That's great. Fantastic.
I've coached the Stingrays for a couple of years.
Somebody's got their mic going there. If you're not using your mic, feel free to.
I didn't really have big issues with my sister wives.
Sherry,
Oh, is that me?
Sherry, we can hear you.
Oh shit, sorry. No, he's not home. I'll mute. Sorry, he'll be here soon.
All right, thanks.
Okay, bye.
All right, let's go to our games of the week. All right, we had a busy schedule this week. On Thursday night, we had the Acadie Bowl, officiated by Eric LeBlanc, and Eric, why don't you talk about the significance of this game?
Sure. Yeah. So for those of you guys who don't know, the Acadie Bowl, done by 2 French high schools in the region, and there's only 3 of them who play in the league, so it's always a big deal when these 2 teams face off against each other. But for us, this was the first time that we've ever officiated a game in French with all 7 French officials. So really, really exciting for the NBFOA. That kind of puts us on the map and hopefully encourages recruitment from that side of the field. Really, really exciting for us.
That's great. What can you tell us about the game?
Well, as you can see with the score, it was kind of a blowaway for one team. With the Thursday games, we have the opportunity to do 7 official mechanics, and it's really, really important for us to be prepared, because this is not something we're used to doing at the high school level. So if you're ever given the opportunity to do one of these games, make sure you read your mechanics, make sure you know what you're doing. Despite these new mechanics, we had a few hiccups, but I'm really proud of the effort that our crew did. I think we gave them a really great game. And I'm really happy to be part of that one.
Awesome. All All right, next game, Tantramar, Harrison Tremble. What a game this was. It was a fantastic game. I was the white hat. Fowler Bootbar was in this crew, Curry and Andrew Potter. Tantramar jumped out to a 14-0 lead. They had a chance to score at the end of the first. Harrison Tremble held them up and came back and scored 21 unanswered points. We had a wild play with 2 minutes and change left in the game. I have 2 clips to show you later in the presentation. The cameraman must have got a little excited because the film stopped in the middle of the play. So there's two clips for the same play. But there's a very key point in this clip that we'll talk about later on. Let's go to Bernice McNaughton at Riverview. Is Kingston or Dunfield on the call?
Yeah, I'm here.
Anything you want to talk to us about this game?
No, we had a couple issues in the game. Just, I think you're probably going to talk about it later on. Just making sure we communicate what we saw on the field, and we'll
Yeah,
get together to make sure that everybody knows what's going on. But
we've got the one clip. I've got
Yeah.
1 or 2 clips possibly from that game. So we'll do those ones after as well.
So Ray, one of the things Aaron is alluding to, I'll just mention it here because I don't think you're going to have a clip on this one. We had a foul, a face masking call, which was legit. There was a turnover on the play,
I got it.
and what's going on? It wasn't reported maybe as accurately as it could have been, or else questions weren't asked that would get the accuracy of the timing of the face mask.
I've got
Okay.
that clip, Andrew. We're gonna see.
Oh,
it.
you've got that one? Okay,
There.
sorry.
I got it.
Sorry to
Yeah,
interrupt.
you're gonna see it.
Okay.
All right, let's go to FHS and ESA. Anybody here in that game?
Yeah, that was my game.
Okay.
ESA is a team that's unfortunately on the downward side of things, but they really come out and surprised us. They scored 14 early, and then unfortunately just ran out of gas. FHS kind of flexed and took over from there. The only thing special in that game is we had the quarterback go to stiff arm and face mask a player, and as the player was going down, he tried to catch his balance and he grabbed the quarterback's face mask. So we had dual face masks on one play.
Wow. Okay. St. John High, Leo Hayes.
St. John High Leo Hayes, that game was mine. Absolutely fantastic game. You can see with the score, it was going back and forth, and 1 minute more, 1 minute less, and Leo Hayes would have taken it. It was just good offensive football. Both teams came out to play. We had very few flags, and honestly, one of the most fun games I've ever done.
Wow.
So
Yeah, there was only 3 major fouls in that game.
Yep, they came to play. It was good. Nothing else to report.
Okay. OHS and St. Max.
I had that game. This is the point in my life where I realized that our president, Mr. Dunn, is very
Hey, I'm just trying to make the
misled
MFA
and
very
then
good.
very easily spreads misnomers that he's told when he's out after a game. No, there were not 3 ambulance calls, including Chris Wall making one of the runs, and we didn't have 5 ejections either. We had a great game, as I told Ray when he could actually understand, and I told Jim and Andrew also, that at the end of the game, I went over and shook both head coaches' hands and thanked them both for allowing me to have a great weekend, because usually that's not a really pleasant game to do. In the big scheme of things, we had one. It wasn't an issue, but again, a little bit of communication. We had a interception by Team B. After the intercepted the ball, we had the ball go loose and an inadvertent whistle. Anyhow, Coach Wilson from Oromocto was a little confused about the whole concept of the inadvertent whistle, and he thought that because it was all part of the original play where they had possession of the ball when the play started, that they should have gotten it back. anyhow, I explained it to him. He wasn't 100% happy. The one thing he did say is he just wished that responsibility for the whistle would have been taken. So anyhow, it was a great game. Kids played well. We did have a few URs, but that's high school football. Anyhow, good game.
Awesome. St. Stephen and Sussex.
Yeah, that was mine. It's hard to even call this a game. You have one decent team with St. Stephen and a team that really shouldn't exist. But Sussex came out and finished the game, so I'm proud of them for that. Yeah, nothing really to report there. I will say that this is the first time I've been to the Sussex field this year. It is vastly improved from years past. The lines are better, the goalposts look better. It's still not our greatest field, but it's not as bad as it once was.
Okay.
Yeah,
Awesome.
that's it.
Simons at Hampton.
Again, I had this one. It was very similar to the report that Eric just gave. You have one team that's pretty sound, another team that's trying to get going again. We were in run time by the beginning of the second half, but I guess the biggest issue we had was, and this I should have mentioned this also in the OHS St. Max game. The stick crew that we had was sort of a distraction, I think would be the way in which Joe would refer to it as. We had a couple of kids who were too young, older, well, an adult who thought he knew everything. Maybe it's just something you need to send out, right, to remind teams that their stick crew should be capable of working that level of ball. So a 12 and 13-year-old probably shouldn't be working the sticks.
Okay, I'll look into that. All right, JMH and Harborview. No one?
I was in that game.
Okay.
I think I did 3 games this weekend. It was a good game. It was a blowout for JMH, but we had issues the week before with JMH, and they were actually quite well behaved. However, an official, or sorry, one of the coaches from Harborview was ejected. They had been really quite mouthy almost right from the start. Wish Todd or John were here.
I'm here.
Oh, there he is. Go ahead, Todd. Why don't you talk about it?
Oh, just the JMH coaches were like, it was almost sickening how well behaved they were. But the Harborview coaches, the one that we ejected, he was down on like the 5-yard line of his own bench, and I tell him to move back. He wouldn't. He kept calling his play. I said, you need to move back. Call his play. Ball snapped. I threw my flag, and then he got his OC. And then later on, there was a few calls that he thought we missed, and the players were complaining. He was about 3 feet behind me, and he says, "Guys, don't worry about complaining. They're not going to call around us anyways." And that's when we decided that he should be watching the game from the other side.
Mm.
Then he tried to continue to call plays up on a rock with his headset until we realized it sent one of the coaches up to get his headset from him.
For your records, Ray, that's the same kid that got kicked out the Tuesday or received an OC for comments from the bench on Tuesday night. The assistant coach.
Well, I'm looking for an incident report from that game, and then I can deal with that with the MBIA. But it's good to hear that GMH was was much better this week than previous weeks. All right, let's go to the AFL game. We've got UNB Fredericton and Dow. I'm kind of surprised about this game because I always thought Dow was a very competitive team. Who wants to talk about this one?
I will. I got to White Hat my first AFL game. But obviously I had a great crew thanks to Patrick throwing that one together for me. It was a competitive game. The score is very lopsided, I agree, but I don't think that was until more so the fourth quarter. It was fairly well done by both teams. Dalhousie just could not get the ball running. They couldn't complete a pass until end of the third, beginning of the fourth. We didn't really have any major fouls. We had, I think, 5 in total. 2 by one kid who decided to try and rip someone's face mask off a couple times. And we caught 2 on some low blocks, both by UNB. So it was just if anyone's doing their games in the future, just not to keep an eye on it, but be aware that they tend to go lower than they're legally allowed to.
Good. Mount A and St. FX, I can tell you there was nothing to see in the first half, like we just talked about before.
So did Mount A get lost and go to the wrong field?
Oh no, but
didn't they play Acadia?
It was a challenging game.
You didn't get that yet, Jim.
No.
Before the game, before this call, we
Ray,
talked about the fog.
Ray, that's the wrong game.
What's that?
Mount A was high, St. FX.
Oh, sorry, Acadia. Sorry, Acadia. Listen, I've got a lot of stuff on the go.
Put this together Friday night.
So Mount A and Acadia. All I have to tell you about this game is anybody that's worked AUS or has worked sticks at the AUS, the Mount A team head coaches or coaches have been challenging to deal with on the sidelines. And I don't know what has changed in 2023, but I find their bench is so much better than years past. Jim Al and I got to, Jim Al and I got to work sticks last week. They were fantastic. And even as part of the crew this week, I don't know what's changed in Mount A, but the coaches are excellent to deal with. So outside that, I can't think of anything special out of that game, except for if you watch the film, I think it was in the fourth quarter. If you want to learn how to do a field goal properly, there is a great clip on a field goal in the fourth quarter. So maybe I'll get in the clips for next week.
Practice makes perfect, right?
All right, let's get into some film. And Al has sent 2 clips to me. So Al, you're gonna I'm gonna play this, but you kind of walk us through what we're looking for here.
Can we make this bigger?
Right.
I was just about
can
to
you
ask.
expand that?
Yeah. How's that?
We just go full screen on it.
Yeah.
Or maybe you can't.
Down at the
Five,
bottom.
Ray, have 5.
There you go.
Okay, so when we're done, this whole video is 1 minute and 47 seconds long, and it's got 7 clips in it, so it's not very long in total. So we're going to watch player number 34 at the top. I can't point at him right now because Ray's in control, but watch his action once the play develops. So away you go. He does this quite regularly throughout the game. Stop. Okay. So if you watch 34, this is probably the 3rd time he's done this, and this would probably be not the firmest contact that he delivers to that guy. Anyhow, this is their offensive set that St. Stephen runs, where they bring a wide out or a slot back, who it's hard to tell on this image, but is wider than 3 yards, and comes in and does a seal block there, which by rule would be considered a crackback. Okay, the next one, watch what happens at the end of the play. The next one is the UNB play coming up. Watch at the end of this, Chris actually picks up on it. We have a stoppage. You have a kid coming in to the screen right now.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so we've got to make sure we don't miss up. We've got to make sure we don't miss those types of plays. They are happening. Sometimes it's really easy to pick them up. Other times it's not.
Oh, what happened in that last play?
So, yeah, can you replay both of them again?
Okay. Okay, so 34 is coming from the backfield.
Right here.
A guy.
Is this
He's
who you're
leaning with
talking-
his head,
That's him.
Michelle, when he hits the defensive guy.
And he hits the guy right there, coming in from the outside to hit him. This was not the hardest one, but it was.
He was outside. He looks like he's.
He looks like
inside
he's
the ball.
lined up in the inside. He's not
Yeah.
coming at an
The
angle.
problem is the video's being taken from the sideline. He's about 4 or 5 yards outside of me. And I'm lined up over top of the guard, on the right guard. So he is
Okay.
coming from well outside prior to snap and coming in.
Okay, okay, yeah, all right.
So on this one, right around, slow it down, slow it down.
So who am I looking at? Who am I looking at?
Kid
Well,
that's coming out of the left-hand side of the picture, right there.
33.
One player's down, play is done, and he comes in and lowers his shoulder into the pile.
Oh,
That's piling on there.
Okay, so stop right here, right? We're going
Yeah.
to look up at the right, at the top of the screen. Okay, come down further, Ray. And you're going to see a person standing on the sideline about 10 yards in advance of the line of scrimmage. Bring your cursor down further. On
You
the
talking
top
about the
side,
guy
right
in
now.
behind McKeel?
No, other side of the field.
Oh, down here?
Yeah, the other
No,
sideline.
Other side of the field.
The other
Right.
sideline.
Okay, go down further.
A
Slide
spectator
your
on the
cursor
field. on the
towards
side.
the goal line.
Oh, I see what you're
Keep
saying
going,
down
okay.
here.
Keep going, keep going. Right
There.
there. In that area of the field, you're going to see something happen. So you
Okay.
all know where you're looking. Okay, so we have a pass coming out to the sideline. Won't be caught. Hello.
Oh, right there.
Again, one that we stop it. So it's one of those that we can't miss.
Onside block.
Oh, okay, so this is a kickoff by UNB. There's
sorry, can you go back and replay that? Because I missed that. It happened too
Blindside
quickly.
block is actually
It's
guy.
right at the end,
Yeah.
Michelle. It's right
Yeah.
here. Watch this player right here.
Okay, there he goes, yeah.
Okay, he's coming back towards his own goal line
There he
and
goes,
boom.
boom. Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
hits the other guy.
Okay, so the next one's going to happen around the UNB logo. And it's going to be a foul. In the vicinity of the logo, it's going to be center field, not where the ball is. Don't look at the ball.
Yeah, I got it.
Oh, there we
Okay.
go.
I saw it. Ray,
Somebody should be not looking at the ball. Right
Ray,
there,
right at
Stop
the
it right
logo
there.
right now. Boom.
okay, right at the logo. Okay, this is a trail play. Again, those things that we talk about. We cannot be watching the ball. We got to convince ourselves to watch other things. So the next one, before you move it, Ray, put your cursor on the whiteout on the top of the screen. Okay, so no, on the whiteout, that's a defensive back.
That's the
Oh,
defense.
sorry, right here.
Right
here,
there.
yeah, right there,
Okay,
yeah.
so watch this player. Okay, stop it now. Oh, shoot.
What happened?
Oh, you went all too far. No, went too far. Do we have a problem with that player leaving the line of scrimmage?
Well, that depends on who's on the inside.
So that's where my question goes. This player with the yellow helmet, who is now would be the end, would have had to have reported prior to the play running. So my question is, if they had, all's good. But if they haven't, we no longer have an eligible on that side of the field because that whiteout leaves the sideline, leaves the far
Well,
side.
unless
Unless it's
he-
an eligible number in tight.
unless he's got a good number. Yeah.
Well, that's what I mean. If he's eligible, sorry if I just said report. If he's eligible, we're okay. But you can't tell on this. So if he's eligible, or report it before the play goes, we're good. If he hasn't, we have a foul. Because we no longer have an eligible on that side of the line.
Okay.
Okay, that makes sense?
Yeah.
But it looks like you don't have 5 on the line either way.
Well, we
I think one guy has a black helmet in there, Ian.
Okay.
Yeah, there's 4 inside. Then there's a wideout standing out here by the official. There's one main line across the field that you can see. So nobody knew where the hell they were standing on the field. Okay, so we're going that way.
And I'm just gonna, Derek, just to add to this clip here, in New Brunswick, in our high school division, we have a 9-man division and a 12-man. So that's what this clip is of our 9-man division.
Okay, thanks.
Okay.
Okay, so in the next play is a UNB play. Okay, stop before we go and I'll tell you what's happening. It's a punt, as you can see. We're going to have some wrestling behind the play by a couple of guys. I believe they're the 2 guys who are furthest to the right on the screen. And then take a look at the last hit on the returner. So there's a couple of things. So you play it through. So there's the throw down. Sorry, I was at the wrong spot. Kid goes to his knee.
Oof.
Okay. Okay, we have a flag. Chris, I don't know what you had.
Me either.
Probably no yards.
Well, that'd be no yards, yeah.
So if that's all, should we have had something else? And again, it's not the video this size isn't great, but it looked like when I watched it, like we may have had contact of the returner's head.
All right, this is another play, huh?
No, that's the start. You're back at the start.
Oh, that's the start?
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
No, it's not. What is this one?
Oh, it just must be a reverse angle of that one.
No, it's something else. Anyhow, I don't have a note for that. Oh, I know what it was. Sorry. Go back to that one. Very last one. Sorry. I skipped one. Yeah, right there. Hey, back it up. Okay, stop right there. Watch number 80. The kicker.
Okay. Did we have a problem with number 80?
His knee went down.
Did his knee go down? It's hard to tell off that video, but
it was again, close. It's shaky, but his knee is down when he catches the snap.
Yeah. Okay.
Again, if we nail that one, then we don't have to worry about this foolish stuff downfield. That's that. That's the group of those. Thank you.
All right, now I gotta. All right, so this is Al's clips on passing.
Okay, so before we go, first play, you're going to watch receiver number 2. I believe it's on the lower part of the screen. Okay, receiver number 2, second guy in right there. No, that's 3 right there.
There he is right there. Okay.
So watch what happens to him and ask yourself, is there something wrong?
Everybody see that?
Isn't that interference on an eligible receiver? Are you allowed to take them out like that? Or was the kid my
can't.
size and so that's what happens
No,
when anybody
that's-
touches them?
You cannot take them out like that.
That's really
That happened to me all the time.
What is a key point on this play is whether it's
Recording in progress.
There was no contact initially from the line of scrimmage on.
The ball is in the air, so it would make it illegal contact.
There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Yeah.
And quarterback still in the pocket, so the whole field's in play.
Yeah.
Okay, so just something to keep in mind as we go forward. Okay, the next play.
Just say,
So,
can we,
Before we move on, Al, what was that 5, 6, or 7-man coverage, and who had the receiver? Why don't we look at that?
That would have been, it should have
Was
been
that from-
5, it might have been 6.
Was that from a week ago, Al?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, we had a 5-man crew in that. game.
5-man crew, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, Nathan, do you have a question?
yeah, Andrew said quarterback's still in the pocket. I didn't believe a pocket existed in Canadian football.
Well, he's in between, he's still in behind, he's not become a runner.
Oh, okay, fair.
So
Okay,
he's still
perfect.
in, yeah, typically what we would still call.
Okay,
a
so,
pocket.
okay, so,
So-
yeah.
And
And
then
so Nathan, what I was getting at is if he takes off to one side of the field or the other,
Right,
and he's got his back to one side of the field,
right.
we're not as likely to call illegal contact over there because he's not even looking there for a receiver.
Okay, perfect.
But when
Perfect.
he's standing back in his normal position, everything is open to him.
Okay, perfect. Because I've dealt with
Okay.
too many coaches who watch Monday Night Football and say he's still in the pocket. So,
Yeah.
okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so the next one, this one, we're going to stop. We're going to watch the 2 receivers going down the right-hand side of the screen. This is a play that Arliss had. This is a play where we threw 2 OCs on the Harborview bench. It's going to end up being a pass that's basically thrown short. Okay, so if you watch it, and when it goes to them, both guys are sort of chicken fighting all the way down the field. Ball's underthrown. Both guys are side by side. And we have no call. Questions, concerns? Vote.
There have been a call. Should there have been a call? It's kind
I-
of hard to see.
I don't believe so.
If they're chipping at each other the whole time, there's, yeah.
And that's what they were doing. They're arm wrestling all the way down, and then they tried to stop to come back. And the kid on team A lost his balance and fell. So there was nothing there. Okay. Next one is the next 2 go together. This is from last weekend. So we're watching the pass here. Okay. This is from a different angle, same play. Okay, stop it. Anybody have anything different than what we just watched?
Can you replay that one more time?
Yeah.
I guess I can't say yet. The overhead's probably a better one. Watch what the defensive back does, or the linebacker, defensive back. Watch how he plays the ball.
Oh, yeah.
Are you thinking screen?
You never look back. I'd say he got
This is a way better ankle on this play.
Doesn't need to look back.
It looked like he ran into his chest and put him off balance before the ball got there.
He looks there a little early.
Yeah, he's engaged right there.
Who are you calling the PI on?
I think
Well,
we gave it to back.
one kid is playing the ball and one is not.
But the intended receiver was not looking.
I call
Well,
him
no,
on the
the yellow
Should we
helmet's
think?
the intended receiver, correct?
Yeah, yeah, okay.
Okay, so he's playing the ball. The other kid's playing the man, and he keeps moving into him without knowing where the ball is.
Yeah, I got.
So by my standards, he's guilty.
Yeah.
Yeah, same DPI. If you get, you're not allowing the receiver to come back to the ball without ever getting your head turned around to see if it was an underthrown ball or not.
Just being the devil's advocate, does that defender not have the right to be on the ground that he's standing on?
Yeah,
Well,
but
he's
he
got the
wasn't.
right
He was
to
moving.
play
He runs into the receiver first.
He was moving towards.
But he
the
wasn't
receiver,
looking.
though.
He's
He
got a
wasn't
right.
looking.
He's got a
If he
right to play the
stops-
ball.
If he stops, he's fine. But he didn't.
Yeah.
He kept moving into the receiver, right?
He's got a right to play the ball, but at this picture right here, he's not even looking at the ball.
No,
Oh,
he's
he
just
made
looking
it
at the
Term looking
receiver.
at the ball, he doesn't have to look at the ball.
No, but he's making
Correct.
contact beforehand. I think that's defensive pass interference.
I concur with the boss. Yeah.
Well,
Because
remember
if he
his story.
stops, but Al, if he stops,
Oh,
and then
Andrew,
the
I'm just
kid-
being the devil's advocate on this one.
you're doing a good job. You're doing
Yeah.
a good job. If he
Yeah.
stops and the kid with the yellow helmet tries to go back, there's no foul.
Yeah.
But he doesn't stop. He keeps moving into the receiver without even looking at the ball.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, everybody understand why you should have one,
Yes.
from what the guy said? Okay.
I do, but very quickly, Al, you're saying he doesn't have to look back at the ball? Is that because his hands aren't up in the air in his face?
If he's got his hands up, he doesn't, in a screening sense, he doesn't have to look back at the ball unless his hands are, not even if his hands are. Screening is the process of having your hands up in front of a receiver's face to block his line of sight. Okay?
Okay.
And in doing that, if I'm turning, looking back at the ball and still have my two hands up, it's still going to be a foul. But we don't necessarily have to have the defender looking back at the ball to not be called DPI. That makes
Okay.
sense to you?
Provided that he's holding his position.
His position, yes. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. If
Perfect.
if he's Nathan, if he's stable in his position, he doesn't have to be playing the ball. He owns his position.
Yeah.
Right.
But in this situation, he continued to move into the receiver.
Right.
So there's the problem.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Okay, Ray, you jumped one?
I don't know, went to the next. Okay, video passing.
Yeah, it's the very last one. Yeah. Okay, keep going. Right here. Okay. So we're going to watch the whiteout in purple.
Oh, right. Yeah, I know this
I
one.
believe it's purple. As he goes and watch what happens.
Are we looking at the outside receiver or the inside
The
receiver?
outside, the guy in purple with the white guy. The guy just fell.
The number 12 there on the outside, number 1.
Yeah.
Did he trip over him or was he
He
pushed?
jumps to the ground.
That doesn't look like he did anything. He just fell.
Was it a slide? Almost looks like he tried to make a cut and then just stop.
The grass does get, or the fields do get very slippery when they get wet as the evenings cool down.
Okay, so just to be a devil's advocate, again, does he fall or does he get tripped?
Inconclusive.
I see a
I
foot
think you-
slide 2 steps before, but does he get enough time to regain his balance? That I'm not sure. But right there, 2 steps before, it looks like his left foot and the right
Right
foot. Yeah.
So this is a play that was sent in to me by the coaching staff. And my explanation, the coach thought this penalty should be on diving versus pass interference, which is what the call on the field was. Okay. And then his other question was this ball even catchable? Because it's inside and it's intercepted by another player here. Or no, wait, sorry. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So the way I explained it to the coach is that number 4, who's in the trail position, is responsible for his own feet. And if he gets tangled up with the receiver, that is pass interference on number 4, regardless of whether that ball's catchable there or not. Because
what
I don't think you have any debate on versus catchable versus not.
Yeah.
it's in the vicinity, it's catchable.
It's
Yeah.
catchable.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's arguments out the door. It's
Yeah.
whether or not he
yeah, it
dives
still has to be
trying to
catchable.
buy a call. Right.
Okay.
That's a catchable ball regardless.
Yeah.
The coaches, that's a bad reach for the coach to try to give you that one.
Yeah.
It could be both. They could get their feet tangled, and he could be trying to sell it a little bit for the call.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I'm just saying it's the catchable versus not
Yes,
catchable
yes.
debate. That's
Catchable.
an easy one.
Get rid of
That's
the
a catchable ball.
part. Yeah.
Yeah.
The issue is that keep going,
Right here.
now.
This is where they both kind of stumble. At this contact here, they both kind of stumble. If you watch the next, see
It's right there.
here, and then he goes down. So it's this contact right here is why I say this pass interference was a good call.
Yeah.
Here, can I play the devil's advocate though? But the green guy was running a line. The purple guy is cutting in front of him. So he's the one that cut close, kind of like he's trying to cut the guy off at a turn. So the fact that he got his leg tangled up, the other guy was running his route. This guy got his leg tangled because he's trying to cut him off.
Jensen back
So
is in.
I think 13 or the purple guy caused his own feet tangling and then did a soccer move.
The problem is if you deal with they got their feet tangled. 4 is in the trail position.
Clearly.
If they got their feet tangled, 4 is responsible for defensive pass interference.
Yeah.
Well, I think I still have it. It looks like, so explain to me, Alex, it looks like that guy's trying to cut him off. So if you're behind,
He's
Well, no.
he's
But
he's running his route looking for the ball here.
Yeah, he's pursuing the ball. He's not trying to cut him off.
No, that's exactly it, Andrew. He's pursuing the ball. And number 4, who's in the trail position, is responsible for the feet.
Yeah.
That's a pass interference.
Yeah.
That's a good call.
I'll miss that every time then, because I'll look at it and say,
Well, now that you're thinking trail position though, right? That like the trail position is the key.
Just consider, Michelle, the white jersey is always behind in this situation.
Yeah.
And so the white jersey cannot tangle up his feet with the purple jersey because he is distinctly behind.
Yeah.
he's behind, but the other guy's feet are coming.
Yeah, I know, but the other guy's pursuing the ball.
Yeah. He's running his route.
He's not trying to cut the defender off. He's pursuing the ball.
Yeah.
That's the key point.
So can I ask, is that what you saw? Was he got tripped up?
No, that's Pick that called it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
But if you wanted to know to me, that's DPI every day of the week, just if you're asking me. But
So,
I'm an umpire, what do I know?
That's what he saw was the tripping.
so let's back this up and just add 2 questions and then we'll have to get out of this so you can get other things done. Let's stop it right there. Let's switch the positions. Let's put purple in the trail, team A purple in the trail position, and it's the white kid that gets tripped up.
Same call.
Have a foul.
OPI.
Same call.
Same call.
Well,
Only it's
I
going
shouldn't
to be
say same
DPI.
call. It's offensive. Yeah.
Offensive pass interference.
Yeah.
What if they are running side by side and their feet get tangled up?
There is no call.
There is no call. If they're in equal and opportunity position and they tangle feet, nothing. The player who is in the trail position is responsible for protect or prevent the tangling of feet causing the player to stumble.
Yeah.
Did the lineman call this as well, or did just the back umpire?
I don't know. No, it doesn't look like number 2 throws a flag there.
That's actually a great call by the back umpire because he's trying to high point that to see where the ball is going to land. So it's almost like the lineman might have a better angle as to what's happening between that receiver and that DB.
Actually, it was the umpire. We had no back.
You only have a 4 crew?
This was a 4-person crew. that
Oh,
This
okay.
was
Yeah, yeah.
this was the week that we only had 4-person crews.
Oh,
on.
right, yeah.
Yeah, and that would
So the
explain
only-
why the umpire's on the move as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
All right.
Oh, that's
Let's-
right, Al. That first question you asked on the first clip, that
Yeah.
game at KV, yeah, we only had 4 in that game too. Now that I think about it,
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
where that illegal interference was.
And I can tell you that going forward, most of the stuff you're going to see, I know that Ray has some stuff from this week's game, but most of the stuff you're going to see are clips from the previous week's games because they're getting uploaded so late that I don't have the time to go through our AUS game and then I think it's 8 games this week.
So what
Try and
Nick
find
Murray got back to me this week, he's gonna upload the film to Huddle every Sunday night at 6 p.m.
Yeah, well, I can guarantee you this right now, Ray Dan. I will not look at any high school games on Monday.
No.
For 7 o'clock Monday meeting.
For sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. So here we go. This was a wild play in our game, Tremble and Tantramar. And again, the camera guy gets a little excited here. I'm going to play both clips and then we'll come back to this one. And you know what? I don't even have to go to the next clip. This play gets run all the way probably down to the 45-yard line on the opposite end of the field. So what happened? The ball hits the receiver gets hit, ball's landing on the ground, they pick it up and run it back. We let the play go to the end, and then I pull the crew together, and something very important had to take place to make sure that we so let me tell you this. So we let the play run to the end. When we get the play to the end, we have a flag on the play. And Andrew had called a head leading contact on the player that made contact with the receiver. Okay, right here. Okay. We have a head leading contact on number 7 on that play. But something. What's that?
Just back it up a couple of more clips, right?
Okay.
So.
Looking at the receiver.
What's that? Sorry.
We're watching this. We're watching
running back.
The running back. Okay. Watch the running back. Number 22.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So something.
Was it a catch?
It was not a catch.
It's a lateral, is it not?
Yes, the lateral.
Well, when we pulled the crew together, the very first thing that we did is I wanted to know if this was a forward pass or a lateral. So I asked the question to my line judge, was your hand up or was it pointed to the backfield? Is Jason Curry on the call? No. And Jason's response to me was, you are there? All right. So your response to me was your hand was up. And when his hand is up, what does that mean?
Screen pass.
It's a screen pass.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have the balls on the ground. So what do we have? We have a
Incomplete pass.
incomplete pass. Okay. So that means Tantramar does not get possession of the ball. So now we have to apply the head leading contact called by our deep official. So where's the next line of scrimmage?
1.
The 1 yard line.
That's exactly right. So we had to take this to the 1 yard line. And Tantramar's coach was out in the middle of the field waiting for an explanation. We had a technical timeout. We brought both coaches together. And after talking to the crew, it was a very straightforward explanation. We had a forward pass, which I know it was because my line judge's hand was up. Therefore, we have an incomplete pass. We are applying a 15-yard penalty for a head leading contact going up to a 1. And this was essentially a play that put Harrison Tremble at the 1 to take the lead in this ball game.
No, to tie it up.
To tie it up. That's right. And
It
what
was a third down play, by the way, too.
third down as
Yeah.
well. Yeah, third down.
Was the play killed?
No, we let the
go.
play run. We let the play run to. So watch Jason Curry's hand on the sideline. Boom. There it is. Straight up. This is the first thing I looked for in this clip. Did we have that arm straight? Because once that arm is straight, there's no question it's an incomplete pass. So Jason, great job on that call. That helped me huge as the referee in this game. And essentially takes away any complaint that coach has on with the outcome of this play. Any questions about that?
No, the only thing I should have killed the play.
We could have
Yeah,
used
'cause
a whistle there. We could have used a whistle for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, because if you're signaling forward pass, then it's incomplete, right? And you're
Yeah.
the only one that knew. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. That is that play. This is just clip 2. This is as it's coming to the end here. So the cameraman must have got too excited. All right. Now we got this game. So communication. We're talking on the field about communication all time. I don't know if Jack Kingston is Jack Kingston on the call tonight? No. All right. So this clip was sent in to me by Bernice McNaughton. They want to know well, let's watch the clip and then we'll talk about what all right, we're going to be watching this safety right here. Okay, we're going to be watching a wide receiver, and this safety is going to play a key role in this play here. And we're watching player number 92 right here. Six. Let's just rewind that for a second here again. So I believe it's this player.
Yeah, it's the slot receiver. Yeah.
All right, I'm going to slow that down. So the first thing that came to me, the Bernice McNaughton coach wanted to know if we had targeting on number 5. So let's deal with number 5 first. Okay. So watch number 5, the safety coming in. And we've talked about targeting the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, looks like he put his shoulder into him, but
It looks like a shoulder to me.
He turned.
It doesn't look like he's launching himself up.
Well,
To me, that looked like a shoulder.
Yeah, and he doesn't get to his head either.
Yeah.
Key point.
He's going right
I
to his
talked to the
sternum.
coach about that. That kid does tend to come in with his head down.
Yeah, but he went right to his
Not in that
sternum.
play.
So
Yeah.
so even to the sternum, you don't have targeting.
Yeah.
You if the helmet hit first, you would have head leading tackle, but you don't have targeting if you go to the sternum.
Right. Exactly. And that's exactly how it was explained to the coach. We have no targeting on this call. All right. Now we have another issue here. Watch the actions of number 3.
Yeah.
we don't get a good view of it from this angle, but
Okay. You can
Did
watch.
he tackle him by
watch-
the head?
Watch the helmet. Watch the helmet. You'll see the helmet twist.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have a face mask. Okay. We have that hit by number 5, and then number 3 face masks. The ball comes loose and is recovered by Riverview. So what took place on the field is the possession was given to Riverview, a 15-yard penalty was applied, and it was first down Riverview. Okay.
I'm good.
Now there's some details that a white hat needs to know about this play. Okay. What could we have done differently as the sideline official and deep official, umpires looking at the play too? What is some information we could have given the white hat on this play?
Was the ball out before the face mask?
Yeah.
When was the face mask? I'm having a hard time.
Face mask was a part of the tackle.
It's right here. It's number,
Yeah.
watch number 3 red. Number 3 red is coming up, and he gets his hand in here, and you'll see the helmet turn. It's not as easy in PowerPoint, but if you go to Huddle and break it slide by slide, you can see the helmet turning.
Yeah, he grabbed the top part of his face mask and pulled his head back.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's important to note that that the receiver was not defenseless as well. So he did get it. He did get time to make a football move, because if there was another step or two before that, you could question whether the defenseless receiver.
Good point.
Yep.
Ultimately, you can go in and tell your referee the face mask happened as the tackle was happening, and Green was still in possession of the ball at the time of the foul.
Yeah.
Because Red hasn't clearly recovered the ball. Face mask has happened.
So this is so.
Oh wait, can you go back? So if that's the case, then would they have, if the face mask was occurring then, would it still be a red ball, or would it have been?
No, that ball
At the
should have
point
gone
of
back to
call.
Green, up 15.
Back to
from-
Green, yeah.
Yeah, back to Green, up 15 yards, first down.
Yeah.
So it's really important when you're downfield, you're looking for the details that a white hat is going to need. Now, hopefully the white hat comes down and asks you the right questions to get the information that they need in order to apply the right application on the field. But our responsibility downfield as downfield officials is to gather as much information as possible to give to the white hats to make the right call. So let's just keep that in mind heading into week 5 when it comes to our communication on the field. Okay. Any questions about that one?
And just something else to note too, you go from point of foul, not a point of possession on that, because the ball did get fumbled forward from. If you're giving it back to Green, it's got to go point of foul.
Yeah.
Not point of not point of possession, because Red had possession.
Yeah.
And that's because it was after gains or yard. Yeah.
Yeah. These are all the little things we need to talk about when we get together, right? To make sure we get it right.
And another thing, folks, when something like this happens, someone needs to come in and say, the result of the play was da 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 da.
Yeah. All right. The rule that I want you to focus on this week, because I'm seeing it in various game reports, and not only that, but I'm getting a lot of the questions. So when coaches send me in plays, they're using this term, block from the rear, blindside block, crack back, illegal block. It's all kind of getting mixed together, and the definitions of each foul are getting mixed up. So I'm not going to, at this point, we're at 8 o'clock. I'm not going to go through the entire thing, but I really want us to make sure we understand what is an illegal block, what is blocking from the rear, what is a blindside block, what is a crackback block. We've broken them down individually on previous meetings, but just make sure you have a clear understanding of what the difference is when you're making calls on the field. Okay? Al or Bubar, or does anybody want to just chime in real quick on how you would call blocking from the rear or Fowler?
The first words you say are "you are."
Yeah.
If you're going to call blocking from the rear, don't come in and say I have blocking from the rear, because people lackadaisically say that when they say they have an illegal block. Come in and say I have a UR blocking from the rear.
Excellent.
There's a good one in that that Review High game I called on 44 white near the end of the game. You can find that.
Okay. I'll look for next week.
One of the easiest ways to think about it is if you are going to call a blindside block, right? So that player has now gone back, blah, blah, blah. But you're determining that the contact and force was enough. Just think about them doing that from behind. If you're calling a blocking from the rear, then you have you going the other way, coming through, think of it as a blindside block. Enough of a forceful contact, then you have the blocking from the rear. It's just the way that I kind of think about it is, am I calling this blocking blindside? Am I also going to call it blocking from the rear? I use that sort of thought process on how I look at that one.
An illegal block would be classified as a push from the back, on the back.
Yeah.
Not
That was
forceful
good, Chris.
attack,
Yeah.
and not something that sends the guy flying.
Yeah.
And I agree with Andrew on your comment on come in and say you are. I've had a couple times where I've had officials come in and say, I've got blocking from the rear. And then you say, okay, so you have a UR, and then they correct themselves. So just everyone make sure that you come in with Andrew's sort of phrase. I have a UR blocking from the rear.
Yeah.
And you're right, Chris, from a referee standpoint, if you're getting, I've got a push from the rear, I've got a block from the rear, and you don't get a definition of UR, ask the question.
That's the question.
Put them on the spot, find out.
Yeah. All right. Great conversation. All right. Just some odds and ends. Just a couple. We're heading into week 5 now. Okay. So we should be at the top of our games. And there's just a couple little things that we've seen at the field in the previous week. And that is preparing for your assignment. Make sure you know your mechanics. We talk about this all the time. Timing. How are you going to time the game in regular time and 3 minutes? We should know that hands down now. We should know when we're killing the clock, when we're holding the clock. We should know that stuff heading into week 5. But think of some basic things. Stick crew. So we have measurements. Let's not have sloppy measurements. If you're in a 5-man crew or a 5-person crew, know your responsibility on measurements and how you can help out that. If you've got a fairly new down judge, what can you do to help them in a measurement? Quarter changes. What can you do to help them out in a quarter change? So let's just think about that stuff. Again, know your crew, know your position, know your areas of responsibilities. Watch film. We've got 4 weeks of film up on Huddle now. So if you've got a game this weekend between 2 teams, go check out the Huddle, learn team tendencies, get to know your teams a little bit, know what wide receivers they're going to just sharpen your game up a little bit more heading into week 5. Okay. Anybody have any comments on that?
Anybody who is assigned to do an AFL game, whether it's here, DEI, or in Nova Scotia, please be aware that on the line of scrimmage, players are blocking below the knee. And part of the reason I realized after watching some of our game from Saturday night is that we have coaches who have just finished up U Sport careers, and blocking below the waist in U Sport, the rule is different than it is in the AFL. In the AFL, it's by rule book. You cannot block below the knee, but these kids are being told to chop in the box. And coaches and players, definition of chop is I'm going after the shins or the ankles. Right. So we had 2 called this Saturday in our game. I showed at least 2 videos last week from the AFL game. So if you have an AFL game and you are working umpire, referee, or I asked Jim and Chris if they'd be happy if I threw one. If you're a field judge and you have a good line on it, watch for the chops that are happening in the close line play area or the blocking below the waist zone, because kids think it's okay because they're being told that by coaches.
Yeah, good point, Al. All right.
Ray, I just want to add one thing. So when you are working in your slide there, when your last one, when you're working with your crew, it says know your crew, know your position. Talk about it when you're going through your pregame. Just chat about it, because we had a call on Friday night in the high school game where we had a touchdown and then we also had a no touchdown all at the same time, and it just looks sloppy on our end. Have that split second. The touchdown signal does not have to go up right away. Look through to your partner, get eye contact, give the nod, yes or no, up or down, whatever it's going to be. It just looks so much more crisp when we're doing those things. And it's just one of those, chat with your partner when you're walking around the field. Maybe you're not going with your maybe you're going with your sideline partner and 6-man mechanics, but just make sure you talk with your deep one as well, just to make sure that we have those crisp, clear signals at all times.
Yeah, great point.
On those good touchdown signals, what do you not have to do, Mr. Dunn?
What's that?
On those clear touchdowns, what do you not need to do, Mr. Dunn?
Well, I'm still going to do it as a referee.
Right.
I'm looking around the field to see if there's a flag, and if there's not, as a referee, I'm going to give the signal.
Yeah.
Here, here.
You fool. Just trying to get yourselves on TV.
Overruled.
Trying to get yourselves on TV. Commentators are saying, what are those 2 idiots doing there? Everybody knows it's a touchdown.
It's in black and white, Gates. It's in black and white.
That's
no, it's
right.
not.
All right, everybody. Thanks for joining again tonight. Great crowd. I really appreciate everybody taking the time. And have a great week 5. Patrick will have the assignments out tonight, tomorrow. And
Tonight.
they'll be out tonight. So check your you'll get an email and confirm on goal line so that guys know right away who's in and who's not. All right, have a great night.
Ray, can you hang out for 1 second?
Yeah, I'm just gonna. I gotta stop recording.
Very good night.